Hello, welcome to today's episode of Juicing the Numbers. I'm your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I am Corwin Heller.
And we've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. The world of sports has been lively for both happy reasons and sad. We will be concluding this episode talking about what happened with Kobe Bryant. So if you don't feel like being sad, you are more than welcome to skip it, and we all understand. But we're going to save that for the conclusion of the show. For now, we have a little bit of baseball stuff to talk about, a little bit of football stuff to talk about, and let's get on into it.
All right.
You want to start with some of the football news that we had?
Yeah, let's do that. So probably the biggest of all these is GM news. Andrew Berry was hired as the new general manager of the Cleveland Browns. He is the former Eagles vice president of football operations. He will also be their executive vice president of football operations with the Browns. I'm being honest, I did not know much about him before this hire, and honestly, I still don't. He was an executive with the Cleveland Browns for 2016 to 2018, their vice president of player personnel. And he was a scout with the Colts for 6 years before that. Not a former player, went to Harvard, so smarty smart. It's really hard to give an opinion on this without knowing more about him. He's not a name that's been in the news really ever. So this is one of those hires that you really just have to wait and see, because we don't have any basis to jump to any conclusions on. So I don't dislike the hire. I don't love the hire. I think it's one of those almost uninspired hires when there were just a lot of good candidates out there, especially within the Cleveland Browns organization. Guys like Elliott Wolf and whatnot. Do you have any thoughts on this? Do you know who he is?
I have no idea who he is. I'm entirely in the same boat as you. I'm hoping. All right. A couple thoughts on that. I'm wondering, I should say, if the fact that we don't know who he is a good thing or a bad thing, because in the past, Browns ownership has long gone for the flashy candidate, and it has sometimes worked out, and it has sometimes not, and more often not than has. So maybe the fact that we don't know who he is means that they didn't just go with a surface level decision. They actually spent time trying to figure out who would be the best fit, regardless of notoriety or appearing in headlines. So the fact that we don't know who he is could end up being really good for the Browns. At the same time, there's always the room for maybe we don't know who he is because he's just a blah dude and he just knows the guys who own the Browns. This could just be a NFL is a brotherhood kind of thing, or a boys club, I should say. And he's just a member of the good old boys club. So yeah, you're right. There's really nothing to say about him at this juncture. We're going to have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I fucking already forgot my train of thought. Fuck me in the ass, dude. God damn, I had a thought. I wanted to say it, and I obviously forgot.
Like the Browns trying to win games, they just forgot
exactly. I guess we can come back to it if it comes back to me. But oh god, it's really pissing me off. But whatever. In other general manager news, Bill O'Brien, head coach of the Houston Texans, has been promoted to general manager. I feel like this is something that is both surprising and not surprising. He's kind of been the de facto general manager for them since they fired. Well, actually, they didn't fire. He stepped down for family obligations. Their last GM. And they went through the entirety of the 2019 season without one. And based off of, the Laramie Tunsil and the Jadeveon Clowney trades, where They did not quite get the return that they could have with both of those. I mean, I know we've talked in depth about both. I think Jadeveon Clowney, they kind of sold him for pennies on the dollar, and they had to pay out a lot just to be able to get Laramie Tunsil, which mixed feelings towards that. It's definitely a player they needed, but without without a GM running these trades, running these negotiations, it was, interesting to see how they went about this, but he will now be their general manager. I guess in the Bill O'Brien mold of coach and GM. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I honestly expected him to be fired after this season. He
Which he
has
still
had,
may.
yeah, who knows? I mean, I know I am biased towards him because he was the Penn State coach while we went through the just infamous Jerry Sandusky scandal. I will always hold him in my heart for that, but I can't say that I don't think he has made some just really bad coaching decisions and time management decisions throughout his career. And I thought that would be enough with, the Titans failing to meet expectations the Texans, not Titans, to get him canned. And I guess it got him a promotion. So I am not entirely sure how this will turn out, but it will definitely be interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know what I have to say on it, honestly. I think I have even less to say on it than I do with the Brown situation. Um, O'Brien's spot seems to be tenuous right now, at best, and this seems more born out of necessity than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
I could see like Texans ownership really liking Bill O'Brien and maybe putting him in a front office style role while they also fire him, like get him out of the coaching job. But like, hey, we want you to be our interim GM. And then when we hire a GM, we want you to be like an assistant GM, or like head of scouting or like some type of player personnel type role. Because by all accounts, I'm pretty sure people genuinely do like Bill O'Brien. He's just not a great NFL head coach,
Mm-hmm.
right? That seems to me by
I,
perception, right?
I've never heard anything bad about him as a person, as a coach, outside of game management and things like that. Um, yeah, it's just one of those things where I don't know how they're going to play this in the future. And it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's really all there is to say on it then.
Yeah. All right. Should we move on to? I guess we'll finish up coaching. Dante Scarnecchia is retiring again after nearly 30 years with the New England Patriots as their offensive line coach. He's widely been considered, along with Mike Munchak, as the de facto best offensive line coach in the NFL. You can see it with the way the Patriots have been able to always have not quite dominant, but very, very good O lines without significant investment into capital. And I'm intrigued to see how this affects the team. I can't imagine that their offensive line is just going to fall off a cliff, but I do think it's going to be something to watch, especially with Tom Brady being older, to see how well that protection holds up. And that's really all I got to say on that.
Yeah, this is I feel like having a great offensive line is both an obvious while also understated piece of football, because when it is genuinely good, it's not an easy thing to notice all the time. But the Patriots have had a phenomenal O line literally my entire life, and it's frustrating as fuck. So, Dante Scarnecchi, go fuck yourself. I hope retirement is terrible.
We can only hope. So last in the docket for the NFL, reports are coming out that the the Los Angeles Chargers are moving on from Philip Rivers. Which again, I've mixed feelings towards this because while I think it's the smart football decision to make, It's Philip Rivers, and I really want to see him retire with the Chargers, and I wanted to see him find success there, more than he did um, in San Diego and Los Angeles. I hope he retires as a Charger. I hope he doesn't just kind of teeter around as a backup. Maybe get into coaching and be a mentor for whoever the Chargers bring in the draft or in free agency. But
I believe he did already move to Florida.
really,
Yeah, because I think that's where he's from. But he did already move back there.
he went to North Carolina State, NC State. He's from Alabama.
Oh no,
Athens High School in Alabama.
I had saw a headline and I read a few quotes that said that he moved his family to Florida, which is like weird because he was so adamant about never leaving San Diego.
Right.
And he was like, I don't want to comment about like my future in football at this time. Just time to get my family or be near other. Maybe his parents moved to Florida. There's something about family being in Florida.
Which, you can't hold that against anyone,
No.
Family comes first.
You know what would be hilarious in a time as a flat circle way?
He signs with Miami.
No, he signs with the Giants.
Oh.
Now, that would never happen for a myriad of reasons, but if Philip Rivers ended his career as a Giant, oh my God.
That would be man,
Time is a flat
I think
circle.
Eli fans would be the most upset about that. I don't know why, but I feel like they would just riot for some unknown reason about loyalty and this is bullshit and whatever. I feel like they would not take that well.
For anyone unaware, Philip Rivers was drafted by the Giants, and Eli Manning was drafted by the Chargers, and then Eli Manning held out until he was traded, and those two teams just swapped quarterbacks.
Yeah, that was a great little NFL storyline. I wish I was, conscientious of at the time. Like I was alive, but I definitely wasn't following it. So famously, Archie Manning, just I think he played for the Chargers back in the day at the end of his career, and just did not get along with the owners of the Chargers, and just knew how shitty they were as NFL owners, and just did not want Eli to have to go through the bullshit that Philip Rivers has gone through throughout his entire career. And just kind of was like, Eli, you don't have to hold out. This is your choice, but dude, this is going to fucking suck if you go play for the Chargers.
So apparently Archie Manning never played for the Chargers, but I do know that he had problems with Chargers ownership. So I'm wondering if it was just like they had a reputation.
Archie Manning was around long enough in the NFL where I'm sure he would have had plenty of time to kind of, I don't want to say mingle, but be acquainted with.
I think mingle's a fair
owners.
Word. Yeah. I mean, he's been in the NFL as a player since 1971, and then as a father since today. So, like, he's been in the NFL for literally almost 50 years. I'm sure, or at least 35 by the time Eli started to go into football. So, I'm sure he knew what he was talking about. Anything else football related?
Do you want to go over Philip Rivers' stats, or do you want to wait until he actually announces his retirement or change and all that?
Yeah, let's wait till he officially announces it, because I'd hate to do a whole retirement thing and then he signs with Cincinnati or some shit.
Gotcha.
Well, no, I guess they're going to draft Joe Burrow, but
I mean, who better to have as a mentor for Joe Burrow than Philip Rivers?
Feel the thrill, man.
Yeah, I don't think he ever would, because I don't know why Phil would want to fucking go to Cincinnati, move his family there, or deal with that commute. But you never know.
You never know.
So you want to take us into baseball?
I do. I want to start with something I wasn't anticipating, but I think Mookie Betts listens to our podcast, because apparently he is currently requesting a 12-year, $420 million contract.
Wow.
Which is the exact thing you and I had debated about, like, a few weeks ago?
What's the dollar amount?
12-year, $420 million. So it would be about $35 million a year.
Eat your hat, sir.
which is again the exact thing you and I were debating about like
Yeah.
3 or 4 weeks ago.
Mookie, could you just give us a sign if you do listen? You don't have to like come out and tweet about it. You don't have to come on the podcast. Just shoot us a DM. We won't post it. We want to know.
Oh, can you imagine the level of self-control it would take for us to get a DM from a pro baseball player and not tell literally everyone?
I think we would have to keep it to ourselves because, we are honorable men, but fuck, I want to shout it from a mountaintop. But yeah, let's dig into this.
No, I'm not sure what there is to really dig into. I just kind of wanted to share it because it's just so funny that we were having that exact conversation the other day. I still maintain my position that I just don't think he gets it. I could see, and like I said in our debate about it, I could see in some world him getting 10 years 35 for 350.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those extra 2 years, his age, I think either his age 39 and 40 season or his age 40 and 41 season. I forget which one it would be. That's a tough spot. That's
Yeah.
I don't think a team would have a problem with 35 per year, which again was like the point of our debate.
Right.
I think at this point that it'll just be over years. So AAV wise, probably in that range. Years wise, I think he'll probably miss out on. But that's like the debate of every contract these days is no longer dollars, it's now term. So we'll see.
You know what? He's asking for that contract, which is all I need to say I was right.
Suck my ass and balls.
I am justified. One at a time, sir. One at a time.
All right. Well, so I thought I would have a little bit of fun with the player index as I've been going through it because it's a lot of fun and everyone should. So I wanted to look up which players had the highest WAR in a season in which they hit fewer than 10 home runs, or 10 or fewer home runs, I should say.
Josh?
Yeah?
Oh, sorry, you cut out there for a sec.
Sorry. So if you had to get... So first off, when I did this, there was a lot of people from like the early 1900s, yeah, just less home runs. Ty Cobb was there. Honus Wagner, I think, was on top of the leaderboard.
My boy.
And as much as like that is still interesting, I figured let's keep this relevant to today. So I set the minimum year at, I think, 1960. And I guarantee you all 5 of the top 5 on this list for single season WAR, greatest single season WAR while hitting 10 or fewer home runs. Do you have any guesses as to who some of these names are?
I'm gonna guess Ricky Henderson.
He is there. He's number 4 with an 8.8 WAR season in 1980 while hitting only 9 home runs. His OPS, you might ask, 820.
With 9 home runs?
With 9 home runs.
Yikes. Wow. That's...
Because he's just so fucking fast.
All right. Ichiro?
Ichiro is number 1. How much WAR do you think he put up in a season in 2004 in which he only hit 8 home runs?
9.2.
Are you looking at this? It's 9.2.
Yes. I am a genius.
Yeah, it's 9.2. Ichiro put up 9.2 WAR in 2004. He hit 8 home runs. He led the league that year in WAR. He led the league in plate appearances, at-bats, hits, and intentional walks, and batting average. That season, he had a 372 batting average. He had an OPS plus of 130, an OPS of 869. Finished 7th in MVP voting.
That's crazy that a guy who is notorious for just slapping up some singles, 250 times a season is leading the league in intentional walks.
Yeah, so the thing that makes it so weird, because you might be saying to yourself, well, hits are deadly and walks aren't as deadly. And extra base hits are deadly. Yes. But singles to walks is the same amount of bases. Now, maybe Ichiro just got up with like a lot of guys on base already, which
Right.
seems kind of improbable for the 04 Mariners. But outside of that, like you're allowing the same number of bases to this one runner, because in that 2004 season, Ichiro had 262 hits. He had 24 doubles, which like isn't a ton. 3 triples, which I mean they're just so improbable already, and 8 home runs, which is nothing. So of his 262 hits, 37 of them were for extra bases. So the other 225 of them were just singles.
Man, he was such a fun player, man.
He led the league in intentional walks 3 times, actually. 2002, when he was intentionally walked 27 times, and then 2009, when he was intentionally walked 15.
That's wow. Ichiro, I really wanted Jose Altuve to be like the next Ichiro with that same style. And I think he was kind of that 2014, 2015, whatever it was, when he had his monster season with like 250 hits. He kind of was that with home runs, but it's never been something that he's kind of, kept up with to the same degree. And it just shows how amazing Ichiro was to be able to do that for so long.
Yeah, that's the real thing. Such a long time doing it, literally into his 40s. When he did this, that he was 30. So the 3 players you're missing, you got the number 1 season, and the number 4 season. The number 2 season is Wade Boggs, 9.1 WAR, 8 home runs in 1985 with Boston. Rest of RIP Wade Boggs. That year, he led the league in plate appearances, hits, batting average, and on base percentage. Lenny Dykstra comes in at number 3, 8.9 WAR season. In 1990, he only hit 9 home runs. With Philadelphia, he led the league that year in hits and on base percentage, and not batting average, which is funny. Ricky Henderson, you got it number 4. And number 5 was Tony Gwynn. His 1987 season, he had 8.6 WAR. He had 7 home runs, and he led the league in hits and batting average. And guess what his OPS was? With his 7 home runs.
869.
This is Tony Gwynn's 1987 season. His OPS was 958.
What the
for a 158 OPS plus.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So he had 218 hits. Okay, that most in baseball that year. 36 doubles, which is a fair number. 13 triples and 7 home runs.
Fuck, dude.
And a 370 batting average, which led all of baseball.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Tony fucking Gwynn, man.
Yeah, I got nothing to say. This is just numbers that I know we talk about baseball numbers a lot because there's so many to talk about. And I understand the math behind these specific numbers we're talking about. I just do not understand how we could get to that point without any home runs.
I know. That's the fucking just astonishing part of it. Can I blow your mind real quick?
I love it when you blow me.
Oh, didn't like that. Tony Gwynn never won MVP.
Really?
15-time All-Star, 5-time Gold Glove, 7-time Silver Slugger, 8-time batting title. When batting titles were like still a really big deal, never won it. I don't think he ever finished top 5. No, he has 1 top 5 finish. He finished 3rd in 1984, and that's it.
I mean, I'd have to see like who he lost to before I could say like how outrageous, because obviously if he's losing to fucking Barry Bonds and Babe Ruth every year, it's like, okay, I could kind of see why he would miss out, but he's not even getting top 5 votes. 8-time batting champion, you said?
Yeah, so the 8 times he won the batting title. 1984, he finished number 3, bat 351, and then 87, he bat 370. He finished 8th in MVP voting. Let's see who won those years. So in 1984, Ryan Ryne Sandberg of Chicago won the MVP. He had 8.6 WAR, which was more than Tony Gwynn, because Tony hit a lot of singles, not a lot of home runs. His batting line that year, 314, 367, 520, and 887 OPS. Okay, that feels fine.
Yeah.
And then he lost the winner of the 87 MVP was Andre Dawson, who we just actually talked about last week or this past week. Well, when he was with Chicago with a 4 WAR. What? 4 WAR. All right, hold on. How did he get this award? 153 games, 621 at bats, 90 runs, 178 hits, 49 home runs, 137 RBIs. That 49 home runs must have been it. Yo, hold on. He hit 49 home runs and his OPS was below 900.
I don't understand OPS anymore.
Meanwhile, Tony Gwynn that year hit 7 home runs and had an OPS of 958.
Math is confusing.
Tony Gwynn, oh my God, that's just Tony Gwynn led the league in WAR that year, by the way, just to make it more fucking confusing. All right, then I can't even go through all this. The only other one I want to look at is the year Tony Gwynn batting 394 and came 0.006 points shy of batting 400 and finished 7th in MVP voting.
What?
Yes, that year he finished behind Jeff Bagwell, who won it. And then Matt Williams, Moises Alou, Barry Bonds, Greg Maddux, and Mike Piazza. Jeff Bagwell won it. 110 games, 400 at bats, 104 runs, 147 hits, 39 home runs, 116 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, 65 walks, a 368 batting average, 451 on base percentage, 750 slugging for a 1201 OPS, which is very good. 8.2 WAR, also very good. But damn.
Yeah. Tony Gwynn, you might be the unluckiest man in baseball.
Yeah, straight up. Damn. Okay. Anyway, other notable names on this list. Wade Boggs appears a fuck ton because Wade Boggs never hit a lot of home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Wade Boggs on this list. This is most WAR with 10 or fewer home runs. Wade Boggs on this list. The number 2 season, number 7, number 8, number 11, number 12. Those are the only ones in the top 20. But he's here a lot. Wade Boggs, not a lot of home runs in his career. 118. Wade Boggs played for 18 years and has 118 home runs. He has, in fact, he has only 2 seasons over 10 home runs. 1994, where he hit 11, and 1987, when he hit 24.
Probably because he was so drunk all the time.
And then that's what killed him.
Yeah. What was it? 72 drinks on a domestic flight?
Yeah, from East Coast to West Coast, I think.
Yeah, Philly to LA, man.
All right. The most current player in the top 20 is the most current season, I should say, is from 2015. Who do you think that player is?
2015.
In 2015.
10 home runs.
10 or fewer.
Okay, so it's going to be exactly 10.
Yeah, it is.
Gotcha. Fuck, I don't know. I'll guess Jose Altuve.
It is not. It is Kevin Kiermaier.
Really?
Put up 7.5 WAR. 7.5 WAR, 10 home runs, and led the league in absolutely nothing.
Yeah, he led the league in fucking wet panties.
Disgusting. Brett Gardner, also on this list at number 19, is 2010 season, in which he hit 5 home runs, but amassed 7.4 WAR.
That
Uh,
okay.
Lorenzo Cain's 2018 season, in which he hit 10 home runs and put up 6.9 WAR, also among the more recent ones on this list. And yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. This was a fun little search that you did here, Josh.
Well, now, Corwin, I'd like to present to you the opposite of this search, which is most most negative WAR while hitting at least 30 home runs.
Chris Davis.
Chris Crush Davis, I don't see. No.
Damn.
So this one I didn't have to put a time restriction on. Like I didn't have to set it to 1960 because there just wasn't a lot of home run hitters before then. So this is pretty easy.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
13 negative numbers on this list. There are 13 player seasons in which that player hit at least 30 home runs, and yet their WAR was still negative.
Jack Cust.
It's an interesting guess, but no, he's not here.
Damn. That would have been wild if he was on this.
This is a weird fucking list. I'm just going to say that off the bat.
Just for reference, people listening, Jack Cust is both of our former bosses. Well, Josh's current boss, kind of.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a guy. I'm not confident how many of these names you're gonna know, Corwin. Well, actually,
shit.
you definitely know one of them because we just talked about him.
Barry Bonds.
Oh no, Barry Bonds is too good for that. All right. The worst season by WAR for a player that hit over 30 home runs was Dante Bichette's 1999 season, in which he hit 34 home runs and amassed negative 2.3 WAR.
What? What?
Yeah. Dante Bichette, I believe, if I recall correctly, is a noted terrible fielder.
I feel like he'd have to be.
Dante Bichette, real quick. Dante Bichette played for 14 years. Okay. He led the league in all of these things at some point or another. Games, which is disingenuous. At bats, hits twice, home runs, RBIs, slugging, total bases, and he hit a lifetime 274 home runs. What do you think his career WAR is?
13.
5.7.
What the fuck? How bad of a fielder does he have to be?
Dante Bichette amassed in 14 seasons negative 16.2 DWAR.
Holy fuck, dude.
You know what's crazy is he started his career in the AL, which has, the DH, and then moved to the NL, which does not.
Why? Why would any team in the National League be like, I want that guy in our field 162 games? What?
I know. I know.
You know what? At least Bo's better.
Yo, God, so much. Yeah, how fucking terrible is that? Eesh, Dante. Second worst season. I do not know who this is offhand, but he played rather recently. Mike Jacobs and shut up. His 2008 season for the Florida Marlins hit 32 home runs, put up negative 2 WAR. Mike Jacobs apparently only played for 7 years, 2005 to 2012, and has a total negative 2.4 WAR. And yet has 100 home runs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have no words to describe how I feel towards finding out how good and bad some baseball players are at their jobs.
Yeah, dude, this is just a weird fucking list. All right, so next up is Dave Kingman. In his 1986 season, he hit 37 home runs and put up negative 1 WAR. Dave Kingman, 17 career WAR in 16 years in the MLB.
Okay. I was like, 17, that's pretty... Oh, no. 1 per year, that's not great.
So he was average. Then we have Tony Armas in his 1983 season, negative 0.8 WAR, yet hit 36 home runs. Tony Armas, 15.9 career WAR in 14 years.
Crazy little what's the Fuck it. Whatever. Words are hard.
We are getting slowly towards names that I think you might know that I know. But next one up, I still don't know, is Leon Wagner. In 1964 with Cleveland, he hit 31 home runs, negative 0.6 WAR, a lifetime WAR of 11.9 in 12 seasons.
It's like a 60 grade name. I'll give him that, though.
Yeah. Next up is Yasmani Tomas. His 2016 campaign with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I do not remember this year at all. 31 home runs, negative 0.5 WAR. Lifetime WAR for Yasmani Tomas, you might be asking? Negative 2.5. He played in the MLB for 4 years, 2015, 2016, 2017, not 2018, and then 4 games in 2019. I'm assuming he won't be back.
Yeah.
Then we have Joe Carter, and not the good one, the other one. Because apparently there's two, because I was super confused. I saw Joe Carter in Canada, and it's not him. It's the other Joe Carter in Canada. 1996 with Toronto, he hit 30 home runs, negative 0.5 WAR. Joe Carter, the outfielder, 19.6 career WAR in 16 seasons. Jesus. All right, now a name Corwin knows. Number 8, Rougned Odor.
Hey. That
Rougned
I
Odor
believe
is
completely.
number 8 and 11 on this list. He hit 30 home runs in 2017 for negative 0.4 WAR. And then in 2019, he hit 30 home runs and put up negative 0.3 WAR, which means if you put his 2019 and 2017 campaigns together, he hit 60 home runs
and was useless.
Negative 0.7 WAR.
And was fucking useless.
That's
that
amazing.
Sounds like the Rougned Odor that I know. Well, love's a strong word.
Yeah. Another player that you know that we also just talked about recently, Adam Dunn. Hit
I should have guessed that he was going to be on here.
Yeah, he is. He hit 38 home runs in 2009, negative 0.4 WAR. Adam Dunn, you fell off the ballot in your first year.
Not a Hall of Famer.
There's some really interesting names on this list. Randall Grichuk is here. Franmil Reyes is here. Tony Bautista? No relation, I'm assuming. Matt Kemp is here.
Sure.
But yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. is here.
Now that's interesting.
2007 with Cincinnati. He was 37 years old. He hit 30 home runs and 0.7 WAR.
That's not the Ken Griffey that I know and love.
No, that's the sad Ken Griffey.
Mhm.
Here's a fun one. Dante Bichette. Again, he in 1995 with Colorado, he hit 40 home runs, which led the National League. He had 197 hits, which led the National League. 128 RBIs, which led the National League, and a slugging of 620, which led, you guessed it, the National League. He also bat 340 and had an OPS of 984. What? And fewer than 100 strikeouts.
Wow.
What do you think his WAR was that year?
0.3.
1.2.
Wow.
Could
Why
you imagine?
Was he not a DH?
I know, because his hitting numbers are genuinely good. He's just like a comically bad fielder.
What position did they have him as?
Left field. Which is by far, like, supposedly, I should say, one of the two easiest positions on the diamond, left field and first base.
That's Dante, I'm not saying you should have spoken up, but dude, you probably could have helped out your career and Hall of Fame numbers if you just were like, hey, just only let me play half the game, please.
In fact, there are at least two other players who led the league that year in home runs that are also on this list that you don't want to be on. Both of their names are hilarious. One of which is Dave Kingman, who we talked about already. He hit 37 home runs in 1982 and put up 0.1 WAR. Oof.
Solid oof.
And then Chris Carter, when he was on Milwaukee, Chris Carter, who now plays Mexican baseball, no longer plays in the U.S.
Really?
Yeah, he had 41 home runs in 2016, led the National League, played with Milwaukee, 0.9 WAR. He struck out 216 times that year.
Chris Carter, man, what a name I've heard like 5 times in my life, but is just such an odd career all around.
He used to swing with his eyes closed. All right, hold on. One last one.
Okay.
Sorry, actually there's two. Two more players who led the league in home runs that year that are on this list. 2008's Ryan Howard for the of the Philadelphia Phillies. He hit 48 home runs that year. Led the National League. 1.8 WAR.
No way.
And then Mark Trumbo of the Baltimore Orioles, because of course they have to be on this list, in 2016 hit 47 home runs, 1.9 WAR.
It's still funny.
So real quick, you know what's amazing about this list of players who led the league in home runs and are but still on this list?
What?
Almost all of them except for Mark Trumbo, National Leaguers.
Yeah, that's well. I guess that shows how bad Mark Trumbo was.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not going to argue. But straight up, like this is another reason why the National League should adopt the DH, because there are some bats out there that are really, really talented, like a Dante Bichette kind of, who are just like Dante Bichette's WAR would literally be doubled if it wasn't for his defense. Could you imagine that? Like his WAR would literally be twice as much. That's how bad his defense was. Because you don't just get to remove the negative OWAR that your pitcher is producing, you also get to remove the negative DWAR that your shittiest best hitter is producing. And like that could be significant.
I really would be upset that we'd be losing out on like Zach Greinke batting.
Well, hey, he's in the American League now, so
yeah.
He's not even going to bat
That's
anymore.
True. We already lost out on that. So I have nothing to defend. Fuck them all.
Fuck them all to death. All right, that's all I really have for baseball. You want to talk about some football stuff?
We already talked about some football stuff, Josh.
I mean, I have a Super Bowl odds stuff.
Oh, yeah.
All right. How specific?
I really thought we were stuck in like a recursive cycle.
Oh, we 100% are. Did you not want to be? That's all I have. I am recursive.
All right, let's talk odds.
Let's talk. So I have my bookie open right now, which is a website. It's not my bookie. He's not opening up to me. You know, we're just looking at a computer screen. Let's see. What do we want to look at here? I want to look at Super Bowl 54 odds. All right. As of right now, the what is this? Just the score? Yeah. No, the spread for this game has San Francisco +2, Kansas City -2. Money line is San Francisco +100, Kansas City -125, and the over/under is 55.5.
Man, I have not looked into these bets enough to really say where I will put the put my money. 55.5 is kind of high. I really want to take the over on it though.
I was thinking the same thing.
Life's too short to bet the under, and I feel like these teams are going to go off somehow. The spread, I mean, Kansas City -2. I'm definitely going to take San Francisco there. And I honestly don't really bet money line, so I'm just going to avoid it.
Yeah, for anyone who's unaware, the spread is literally just how far apart these teams' final scores are going to be. Money line is just who wins. So if you pick the money line bet on San Francisco, you're just saying, I think San Fran will win the game. And then over under is exactly how it sounds. Do you think that the score will be over 55.5 or under 55.5? And if you're saying, why is there a half? It's because imagine you pick the over on 55 and then it was exactly 55. Well, everyone who bet the over doesn't win. Everyone who bet the under doesn't win. So someone's got to win. So that's why there's a hook. There's that half.
Mm-hmm. And then for the spread, just so you know, like Kansas City is -2. So in order to put money on Kansas City and win, they have to win by more than 2 points.
Yes. Sorry. Thank you for clarifying.
No problemo.
Let's look at some prop bets. Let's see what the prop bet is right now for Super Bowl MVP. All right. Patrick Mahomes is at +100. Jimmy Garoppolo. Oh, sorry. I was thinking Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Garoppolo +350. Raheem Mostert at +700. That's an interesting one. Damian Williams at +1200. George Kittle at +1800, and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are both sitting at +2000 here.
Yeah, I mean,
going with the quarterbacks feels very safe.
Yeah, I feel like Pat Mahomes is not worth the +100 bet. Jimmy Garoppolo is my dark horse for winning this, but him being at +350 it's annoying that it's that low. I was hoping he'd be a little higher, but again, there's 2 quarterbacks, so obviously they're probably going to be 1 and 2. George Kittle at +1800, I think, is a sneaky good bet. Same with Travis Kelce. And then maybe Tevin Coleman at +6000. I don't know. There's a lot of decent ones on here, and then defensive players winning the MVP is definitely a lot more common than actual MVP, obviously. But I think there's just too much variance there to really be able to say significantly.
Give me that sweet Kyle Juszczyk at +20,000.
Yes, sir.
For anyone unaware of what this plus and minus nonsense is, so Jimmy Garoppolo is at +350 right now. What that means is that if you bet $100 on Jimmy Garoppolo winning Super Bowl MVP, you would get back $350.
Yes.
If it was -350, what that's saying is that you need to bet $350 if you want to make back $100.
Well, to profit $100.
Yes, sorry.
You would get your money back plus this.
Yes, no, you're right. I should, yeah. Bad word choice on my part. Yes, to profit $100, to make $100. I'll put it that way. So typically the plus means that your bet has a lower chance of happening, which is why it has a better payoff. Minus means that it's like it has a better chance of happening, so it has a lower payoff. That's just all that means.
Yes.
All right, let's look at national anthem. What is it? What can you bet on the national anthem?
Oh, length over under 1:52.
Wager cut off. Hold on. Oh, color of Demi Lovato's primary outfit color. Wow. Okay. All right. Black +125, red +200, blue +300, gray and green gray +500, green and pink +800. That's hilarious.
Do not bet on this.
Oh, everyone bet on this.
Do not bet on this.
Yo, why? Do you think it's more likely she wears red than blue, or blue than gray? I would think I would think gray is such a normal color. I
have no idea.
I don't know either. The over under is 123.5 seconds. Do you take the over or the under on that? So it's just over 2 minutes.
Take the over.
Yeah. Everyone hams it up for the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. I think she did this for another event like this before, and it was like 2:15, 2 minutes 15 seconds. So I would take the over.
Okay, that's fair. Oh, they have a bunch of over-unders on the time. Demi Lovato's hair color. Completely black or any other colors or highlights?
Fuck you.
Completely black is at a -215. Other colors is at +165.
God, they have it whether or not her microphone's on a stand.
I was about to say that one.
What the fuck, man?
Ooh, will a player take a knee?
No.
Will a player raise a fist?
Wow, no player takes a knee. -1500.
Yeah.
Do not take that bet.
Oh, bet your $1,500. Which will be shown first? 49ers player or coach, or Chiefs player or coach?
Oh man, they're both negative 120, which is
Dude, these
weird.
are so specific. Hold on.
Yeah.
Length of last word of the anthem. 5.5 seconds over under.
It's got to be under, dude. Brave is.
In the home of the brave. That was about 5 seconds. What do you think?
Your singing was so bad, your mic cut out during you singing Brave.
Beautiful. I love it. But like, I don't know. Five
It's.
seconds isn't that much, right?
I feel like the Whitney Houston or like the where they like go up and down octaves is the only way it would go over 5.5 seconds. I don't know. I don't listen to Demi Lovato.
All right. This is the last anthem one I'm going to read because this is hilarious and I could keep doing this forever, but I'm going to stop. Will any team have a scoring drive that takes less time than the national anthem? Yes or no?
I I can't even focus because of the one underneath it.
Will Demi Lovato
re-enter rehab within 30 days of Super Bowl?
Wow.
Fuck anyone who bets on this.
Wow.
What?
Oh my god. That's awful.
God. People are fucking pieces of shit.
At the same time, that no is just such a good bet.
The yes is negative 1,000 though. I don't want to risk $1,000 on this.
She ain't gonna go back to rehab.
I know, but at the same time, that's it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Are there any other props you want to look at?
I definitely want to look now. Oh, commercial props. I kind of just want to go through all of these.
That's what I'm saying, but we definitely can't.
Will a gay couple be featured in a commercial?
Oh yes, 100%. Will anyone with a yarmulke be in? Yeah, that's like the traditional Yiddish spelling of yarmulke.
Okay, I was confused by what that was.
Anyone wearing a yarmulke in a commercial? I take the no on that. Yeah, I'm going with all the safe bets though.
How many commercials will include a dog? Over under 3.5. Pound the over. Pound the over.
Yeah, it definitely feels like an over situation.
Man, it's like it's a bunch of these is like which one will come first, which will come first. These are kind of boring.
How many commercials will run during the Super Bowl? Over under 92.5.
I don't know.
Ooh, that's a great question. I kind of want to count now.
First couple shown in a commercial parlay. Gay plus interracial, not gay plus interracial, gay, not interracial, not gay, not interracial. Yikes.
Number of times Bloomberg's commercial will say Trump, over under 2.
So I've moved over to halftime show.
Okay.
And will Jennifer Lopez or Shakira have an outfit malfunction? Will they kiss?
God, yes. God, yeah.
Will they kiss? Will they show butt cleavage? Will Alex Rodriguez be shown during halftime?
These feel like hopes more than possibilities.
Right? Will DJ Khaled make an appearance?
He is everywhere.
Will Jay-Z be shown? How many wardrobe changes for J-Lo? Over under 2.5. Yes. Will Shakira and Jay Lopez twerk during the show?
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, dude. We
All
have stuff on the Gatorade shower, on the color.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to rein this in a little bit because oh my god, this is amazing. But I'm now in prop bets for touchdowns, and it has here the least likely outcomes and thus the best odds for the Chiefs scoring touchdowns is San Francisco scoring touchdowns. Will Daniel Helm score a touchdown? Jordan Matthews or Levine Tailolo?
Oh, Levine Tailolo.
Any of those guys you see scoring a touchdown?
No.
All right.
Definitely not something I'd put my money on.
Would you put money on any of players score 2 or more touchdowns? Anthony Sherman, Blake Bell, Byron Pringle, Dion Yelder, Jeffrey Wilson, Ross Dwelly, Daniel Helmick again, Jordan Matthews, or Levine Tylolo.
Maybe Byron Pringle, but otherwise, no.
All right, players to score 3 touchdowns or more. It's all the same players.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
But would you take Damian Williams throwing or getting 3 touchdowns?
I wouldn't take him scoring that, but he would probably be the only person out of those guys who I could even conceivably see scoring 3.
Ooh, actually, passing touchdowns do not count towards this wager. This is rushing touchdowns only.
Oh, not even receiving. Oh, yeah, probably.
Oh, actually, no, wait, that might make more sense. Receiving touchdowns, but not passing touchdowns. I didn't think about that.
Oh, got it.
Actually,
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's sitting here at plus 2,000. That's not an awful bet, honestly. Same with George Kittle sitting there at plus 3,300. I'm just saying. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just saying. If you wanted to put $10 down on Tyreek Hill getting 3 touchdowns, you can make a cool $200 there.
All right. Can we finish this off? Like, we can go over more, but can we please finish it off on the special props page, because I'm gonna lose it if I don't get to say these on the podcast.
Let's do it.
Will an Epstein didn't kill himself sign be shown? Yes, plus 500. No, negative 1,000.
Give me yes.
Number of women to claim sleeping with Jimmy G during Super Bowl week, over under 1.
Oh, definitely over.
Will an animal appear in the field? No birds. Yes or no? Will a fan run on the field? Yes or no?
No.
NFL players in the stands to be shown on TV.
Oh, 100%. Oh, over 4.5. Got it.
Will D Ford line up offsides?
Is that something he does?
Yes.
Oh.
Number of players arrested in Miami after the game, over under 0.5.
I like that one.
Will Julia Rose or Lauren Summer be shown flashing?
Fingers crossed.
Yes. I would put significant money on yes.
Will OJ Simpson attend the game?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Will anyone say they're going to Disney World? Yes, obviously they're going to say that. They say it every year.
Will a game be delayed 15 plus minutes for any reason?
Will Shanahan or Lynch get extension within 1 week? Yes.
Oh, that's a great question.
I would put my money on yes. Will Kaepernick be mentioned during Super Bowl?
Oh, yes. I think he will be.
Will Mike Bloomberg predict the winner before the game? Sure.
All right.
Will any player finish with exactly 69 yards?
Will either team convert a 4 and 20?
All right. I just want to say the yes is plus 690, which is fucking hilarious.
That's great.
Any player to solicit prostitute during Super Bowl week? Yes, plus 700.
But like, how long a wager cutoff? February 2nd. Oh, to bet. But like, how long does it take for, like, if it comes out like 3 years later that Jimmy G fucked a hooker? Like, what?
I quote, will Lizzo show up in a disgusting thong?
Ooh.
Will there be a double doink? Why do people not talk about these things more? This is hilarious. Will Troy Aikman mention his Super Bowl experience? Video of Andy Reid doing the punt pass kick to show. Please.
Oh, definitely. Yes.
Please.
Comes up every postseason.
Oh my God. This was the most fun I've had on this show in a while. These are so fucking hilarious.
Man, it really goes to show, though, you can bet on literally anything.
Yeah, man. This is great. I'm so
Could
happy.
you imagine genuinely winning money if Demi Lovato went back to rehab?
Oh man, yeah, I could.
Wow.
That Alright, I need to compose myself.
You good, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Will Lizzo show up in a disgusting thong?
that one got you, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I don't want to move on to our next topic.
I know. I know. We have to though.
Yeah. Kobe Bryant passed away this past week, age 41. Um, we won't go over the details because it's, by the time this comes out tomorrow, and it's been the only thing really being covered on sports shows for the past couple days, and everyone knows the details, so we won't dive into those. This is just kind of, we'll talk about his stats, we'll talk about his accolades, and we'll talk about just how much he meant to us and how much this means to sports in general. Josh and I were talking about this before we started the show, and we emphasized that we talk about how much we just really aren't basketball fans this way we are, with football or baseball. It's just one of those sports neither of us ever, truly got into. Neither of us have a passion for it, but we both agreed that his passing hit us just so significantly harder than either of us could probably ever imagine. Which really, it just goes to show how much he brought to sports, not just the sport of basketball, but who he was and the role model he was, and just how much he added to just sports in general. He was a player who was the top of his game, the best of his generation. But he was also how do I want to put this? He was an ambassador to the game, in a way that other players, outside of LeBron James haven't been. He's done so much for, the people of Los Angeles, the people of Philadelphia. It's hard losing a man where throughout all of this, there has been not one negative thing brought up about him at all. Especially in a time where people do love having their 15 minutes of fame. People love bringing things up, and it's a lot more open to people bringing up negative experiences, and the fact that Kobe Bryant had his case in the past, but to this day, as all this went down, people had only positive, just incredibly positive things to say about him. And I think that's how people are going to remember him, as just being just such an incredible person, as well as being the player he was.
Yeah, I think first off, that was very well said, Corwin. I thank you for leading us into the segment on it. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what on earth I would say about this, because I knew we were going to talk about it. And man, it's been fucking tough. First off, Kobe shared that the helicopter crash in which took his life with one of his daughters, and then a couple of his daughter's friends whose parents were also on board, who were prominent within their own communities as well. Dad was a baseball coach, and his son is actually a Red Sox prospect right now. Just want to give that mention as well. Kobe, basketball was never really one of my sports, like Corwin said, but you still have feelings towards some of these guys. Like, I don't really care for basketball. I love LeBron James. I'll be sad when he retires, and I can't imagine something like this happening to him. I don't want to, but I know that like when his career ends, I will be genuinely disheartened. because one of the few times I do make a point of watching basketball games, it's because I love LeBron James because of who he is, of what he's done in his career as a player, and as a human being, starting a school, being an exemplary member of his community, being just a great dad. And the first like kind of public figure like that, especially in the world of basketball, was Kobe Bryant. He had a reputation as being a really fierce competitor, the whole Mamba mentality thing, and that's true too, and that's something you hear athletes of every sport talking about, is how much they take the mindset of Kobe Bryant to their respective sport, even if it's not basketball, because that's how seriously he took things. Is he talk about, when he was first starting off, he was on the bench because when you're a rookie, like, you always start on the bench, and how people in his life would be like, no, like, man, you should be playing. Why aren't you playing? Your coach is an idiot. And he would be like, no, my coach benched me for a reason. And it's my job to figure out what that reason is and get better at those things until I am starting. I got to earn it. He never wanted anything handed to him. And he's a guy that you always respected the hell out of, and who you always either felt like you were rooting for him or against him because of the whole greatness factor, but a guy that you could always root for off the court. Dude fucking loved his family. He did a lot for his community and was always, as Corwin said, a great ambassador towards his sport. And having someone like that really ripped away is terrible. And it sounds so fucking simplistic, and I know that's not a graceful thing, because what else? How poetic can you get about something like this? But there's very few players like Kobe Bryant, not just in the way they played, because Michael Jordan is also a phenomenal basketball player, or of his time. Michael Jordan's an asshole. He's a well-regarded asshole. And then there's other people who just never wanted to be in the spotlight, and if they were, it's usually because they were kind of like cockier dudes. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with being the Ali kind of dude, but
Larry Bird comes to mind there as someone who, didn't
Carmelo
want to be.
Anthony.
Yeah. Just, not necessarily saying Larry Bird was an asshole, but was one of those stars that didn't want to be the center of attention, didn't want to be, the guy that everyone, just different kind of mindset there.
Or Mike Trout for baseball.
Right.
And
yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, and Kobe was always a guy that was very comfortable talking about like really early sports psychology stuff, like when he was talking about his mentality and talking about what it meant for him to overcome things and what it meant for him to show other people how hard he was working in addition for himself, like people have countless stories of like pulling up to the practice facility way stupid early in the morning, trying to get a solo practice session in, to see Kobe already there practicing, shooting free throws, layups, whatever the fuck. And then they do their whole workout and he would just stay there, keep doing it, because he wanted to show you up. He wanted to let you know that like he was putting in the work. He was going to do it, and he did it for a long time.
I think that he is the absolute pinnacle of the mindset that athletes should strive for, to be the best for themselves and making their team the best they could be. I think his competitiveness is bar none, not only in basketball, but all of sports. I think his work ethic is bar none for anyone else in sports. And everything he did was not only to make himself better, but like you said, to make those around him want to work harder, want to better themselves, and just compete harder. The Mamba mentality wasn't just for him, but it was also, something he wanted to instill in his daughters and in his teammates. And I think that's the reason why the Lakers with Kobe Bryant were so successful for so many years because he was their leader. He was, the leader in Los Angeles for a long, long time. And he was the face of the city. And I think he will be after this for a long time because of everything he's done in Los Angeles.
Oh, 100%. He really embodied the spirit of that city, like you said.
Mhm.
Man, it's tough. Among one of his other accolades I wanted to bring up, he's also an Academy Award winner for his short film Dear Basketball. Just to speak to his really, really loving this. This was not a means to an end. It was not his way of making money. He loved this. It was something he wanted to give to everybody. And man, it just kills. He had a few charity works. He was an official ambassador for After School All Stars, which is a nonprofit organization for an after school program. He also started a China fund, which helped bring some relief to China. And he did a few other smaller things around the city of LA that he was very just to try to help out the local communities around there, and also in Philadelphia, like Corwin had said previously.
Mhm.
It's a huge hit to the sports world and
Yeah.
to Los Angeles, to the community, and to women's basketball. He was a huge advocate for women's basketball too.
Mhm.
And you'll see, if you spent any time on Twitter in the past week, you'll see countless stories being told by people about how much he loved being a father to daughters, and how much he loved getting them active in the sports world too. He was a huge WNBA advocate, and really just cared, man. He just really cared.
Yeah. He uh goes without saying, but he will be missed by basketball and by fans of him for a very long time. And I don't think anywhere in sports have we seen someone of his caliber go and pass in such a way, in such a completely blindsided and shocked by someone's passing quite like this.
This feels like our generation's Roberto Clemente.
I agree. I was definitely going to compare him to Roberto, to Clemente, but I feel like he was on I would say he's on a very similar level as far as what he does outside of the sport. Obviously, Roberto Clemente is best known for the aid he delivered to his home country of Puerto Rico, which is, what caused his, passing. And I think what Kobe Bryant was beginning to do, was starting to do, has done for the past couple years is close to approaching that. But I think within the sport, he was on such another level of play. Um, I just, I don't even know how to compare this to baseball. I mean, this would be like losing someone like a caliber of player like a Lou Gehrig almost, or a Mickey Mantle. Just arguably, not the greatest of all time, but is someone that is always going to be right there in the conversation. Yeah, it's so. I mean, 3-4 days afterwards, it's still just it doesn't feel real.
No,
It
it really
doesn't.
fucking doesn't. It's so bizarre. And it's not like I sat here and I thought about Kobe Bryant every day before Sunday. It's not like I
Mhm.
sat here thinking like, man, I'm really happy to have Kobe Bryant around. It's not like I'd be watching vintage Lakers games. Um, But now that what's happened has happened, and now that we're living in the world we're living in, it's just you weren't expecting it to go down like this.
No. I remember one interview he said that if the next 20 years of his life were not as impactful as the past 20 years of his life, speaking towards the 20 years he played in the NBA, then he'll consider that a failure because he had so much more he wanted to do outside of basketball to help those around him. It's a terrible shame that we will miss out on him and what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about with Kobe? I feel like we could end up talking about this and just mourning this for the next 2 hours. But I feel like keeping this short and sweet, concise is probably what's best for everyone.
Yeah, I'll close with just a thought. In Judaism, just to loop all that around, the prayer you say when you're mourning someone, they call it the mourner's Kaddish. It really doesn't even really talk about death. It talks about life to a large extent, and a lot of the Jewish grieving process revolves around celebration and celebrating someone's life. And that's how I think is best to move forward, especially in things like these, because there's so much to be grateful for in regards to Kobe Bryant, his playing career, the examples he set with his personal life, and his philanthropic work, as well as to feel grateful for in your own life, the people that you have near you, and whatever it is you do to within your community, whether it's a lot or a little, or you want to do more, what have you. There's, take this as your time to celebrate who Kobe was and what he still will be, and to look at yourself a little bit, because it's never too late to fix things up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
You got anything?
No. Kobe, rest in peace. You will not be forgotten. That's for sure.
Well, then, with that, we're gonna get out of here. We're sorry to down note, but you were warned. I think we joke around a lot on the show. I know for a fact we do, and I know that a lot of our jokes are off color, but some things are just serious and will be treated as such. So, if you want to follow the show, you know where to do it. I don't feel like it. And we will talk again on Monday after the Super Bowl.
See you then.